Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Good morning. It's been 2 days of non-stop reading. In every spare moment that I have been reading these 2,500 documents. I obtained them myself. I had to pay 350 American dollar. Damn, I look like crap. Dollars. Whatever, I don't care. I don't even have time to shower, put my contacts on. I don't care. I'm tired. Sorry, I have an attitude too, apparently. I just want to read you guys these documents. I want to show you the documents. The timeline keeps getting more and more insane, more despicable, more involved. The people... Okay, let me just get into it because I'm talking a lot. Let's go back to 2018. According to Melanie Gibb, this is when Lori and Chad technically meet. Now we know that before they actually met, they had correspondence. Before they had correspondence, Lori was reading Chad's books. So this goes back several years. So let's start with this interesting and very telling and quite salacious email, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Source, Melanie Gibb. They met technically September 23rd, 2019. I believe this is a typo and it's supposed to say 2018, and you'll see why. Through Jason Mao at Temple. Chad was told around that time by one of the three Nephites, Mathoni, that a special woman would come into his life, November 18. Together at this point, so Lori and Chad are together at this point, at the Mesa Preparing a People event time, Chad and Lori are sealed to each other in Temple, where they travel to another upper room, and Moroni gave Lori to Chad. The Savior was there. Moroni and Chad have been married to Lori in many other probations. Lori is their favorite spouse. Lori has been on 21 planets and Chad 31. Once he was a Holy Ghost. Chad 5 times on this earth. Lori has been 4. Chad makes a portal in Lori's closet so she can visit him. At this time, Chad told Melanie he has no relationship or interest in Julie Rose. Lori received a revelation that Charles will die in an accident on his way back home from Texas. Listen to this. He doesn't die. And Lori is frustrated and tells Melanie Gibb, it doesn't say Gibb, but I'm assuming, she better leave her house. Sounds like Melanie knew something was coming, huh? Better leave my house. She calls and has Alex come stay with her. Next morning, Charles is killed. Chad told Alex that he was the angel that had come and stopped Laman and Lemuel from hurting Nephi. You have corrected me, Nephi. And that he is now Lori's protector. Alex believed all of this, and Melanie believes he was her hitman and did all the killings. Charles had Lori committed to a mental facility, and they tested her, and she told them who she was. Translated, part of the 144,000. They let her go. But now she's incompetent. Anyway, July 11th, 2019. Charles is killed. September 2019. Lori moves, see, it says September 2019 down here, and up the top they met technically September 2019. So clearly that's the first September 23rd is supposed to be 2018. Okay, so then back down here it says Charles killed September 2019. Lori moves with kids to Rexburg. Melanie is aware that Chad and Lori has taken trips together while both of them are still married to their spouses. They took a trip to visit multiple temples and receive revelation on who is part of the 144,000. They get up early in the morning to walk around the BYU track together, holding hands and kissing. Tammy has become suspicious. Chad tells Lori that Tammy has now become a zombie. Lori, meanwhile, is telling Melanie that she can't wait to have sex with Chad and how it is such an important part of who you are and everyone should be having it at least once a day. And once she was with Chad, they would be having it 3 times a day. Oh my God, can you imagine 3 times with Chad? Oh, you would have to like drug me. We're still in 2018, right? Lori and Chad have met. And now they do a podcast together. This is in December 2019. This email here is talking about this podcast, and it says on 12/4/2018, Lori Vallow, Melanie Gibb did a podcast with Jason Mao. This is Lori's first podcast. Jason explains how the three of them came to be on the podcast together and said that he met Lori at Temple. They had an instant connection. He knew she was a gatherer and had to connect her with Melanie Gitt. Mal told a story of how he became to believe in God and to live the life he lives today. And this is when he told that story of his whole hamstring falling off his legs because he ran a little bit. In this podcast, Lori also mentions the thing about kids having to suffer for their salvation, which is very disturbing, and also kind of tells you where their head was at, because this is December 2018 and she's talking about sometimes children have to suffer for their salvation. And what we know is that in less than a year, both of her children would be dead because they're possessed, and I guess they're trying to save their souls. There's a very interesting email from Kay Woodcock. Lori had a large room at their home before she and Charles separated, which she used as a dance studio. She would record herself dancing 2 to 3 hours nightly and send videos to Daybell, which Charles discovered she was doing. 2 to 3 hours of Lori dancing? I wonder what kind. I don't want to know. Actually, I don't wonder. In December, she does her first podcast, and now she has a new role. She's not just a wife and a mother. She is a goddess. Okay, she is here to gather and usher the 144,000 to the second coming of Christ. In the timeline, we are done with 2018. It's the beginning of 2019, and this is where the shit hits the fan. This is when Lori disappears. Remember, she goes missing for 2 months. We find out what Lori was doing during that time. So this is Charles emailing the life insurance people, telling them that someone changed a password on February 20th, 2019. He writes, "It was not by me. I request an investigation as I believe it's my soon-to-be ex-wife who fraudulently placed a password on the account. I want to change the beneficiary to my sister, Kay Woodcock. I have an order of protection against Lori Vallow as she has physically threatened my life in the past 30 days. Please get back to me. My new phone number is blah, blah, blah. My old number, blah, 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 blah." Charles Vallo. 5 days after she changes the password to his life insurance account, she records a testimony. There's an audio file found February 25th, 2019 that says Lori's testimony, and it is, we don't have the audio, but it's described in the email by police, as well as we see the attachment to the audio file. I did find this audio on Lori's phone. It is titled Lori's Testimony. There is a modification date of February 25th, 2019. Then there's a whole sentence redacted. Listening to her testimony, she is self-prophesizing, and everything she does is because her Heavenly Father tells her. Enjoy the listening, will really help to understand her thinking. Detective Nathan Duncan, Chandler Police Department. When Lori is missing, we know that she lives with Alex in Santan Valley, with him in his house. Apparently there's a huge knockdown drag out fight that goes on, spills out into the street, and she tells him that he's a disgrace to the family. She then gets upset and goes to Hawaii. She's got Tylee with her. She goes to Hawaii for 2 weeks or so. During this time, Charles sends letters to Lori, pleading for her to come back. It says, "Lori, the purpose of this email is, again, try and establish a family connection with you and our son. Also, clarify the facts as I've seen them, regardless of where you want to go with the divorce. It's been 38 days since you've made any contact with us. This is necessary because when I saw Alex this past Saturday, he made me aware that I had somehow taken JJ and tried to put you in jail. What Alex said was confusing. I was really further confused that the entire family had refused contact, not just with me, but also JJ. Lori, on January 30th, I received a call from you stating that we were done and all my stuff was gone from the house. I flew back to Phoenix to find that my truck, along with my wallet and keys, had been taken from the airport. I also saw that $35,000 was taken from the business account by you. $22,000 was to be paid the next day to other reps. I called the police to file a vehicle theft report. While explaining the circumstances, the police officer also suggested I stop by and talk to a place called Bridges about your involvement. They are the ones that ordered the psych eval. Once home, the Gilbert police helped me break into our own home. When I got in, I discovered everyone gone. Also, JJ's clothes, JJ's favorite iPad, my clothes, work computer, and even Bailey's training collar were also gone. The next morning, I got a rental car and went to JJ's school. When you entered the gates with JJ, I did go to your car and retrieved your purse. You obviously had a spare set of keys and left. I texted you asking to return my things and I would give you back your purse. You responded by text telling me where my truck and clothes could be found. You also asked me to drop off your purse with Angela when I picked up JJ from school that day, which I did. On the same day, Kay received a text from you. She didn't tell me about it till Friday, February 1st. I was shocked beyond belief when I read it. In case you don't recall, here it is, and it's redacted. But it seems like Lori is accusing him of cheating because he says, Lori, if it somehow makes you feel better to make those kind of accusations, then I certainly can't stop you. But for the record, you and I both know it's ridiculous. You are my one and only for 14 years, period. Only after hearing this from Alex did I begin to put the pieces together. Then we get another letter from Charles to Lori, again during this time that she's missing. And he says, Lori, you are the only one whose response I will accept to the following offer. On Friday, March 15, I will have all my stuff vacated from the house. You may have it back on Saturday, March 16th. I will also continue to pay all the bills and you and I can work out a schedule with JJ. I will also schedule a locksmith to change all the locks for you. I need to know if this is acceptable by Monday morning, March 11th. I am unaware of your wants and needs because you have not contacted me in any way or responded to any of my efforts. If you have not contacted me, the only conclusion I can draw is that after 38 days, you and your family no longer want communication with JJ. This will be your choice. I'm going to take action and continue to take care of JJ because I'm not getting any response from you. I have no other choice. You have taken away all his family here. It makes us both really sad and I really hurt for him. You're his mother. He misses you. Please agree to see your son. Oh, that's really sad. The last letter here is Charles to Lori, March 19, 2019, and it says, request from your son. Lori, it's been 49 days since JJ or I have heard anything from you or your family. I informed you in the last email that if we didn't hear anything by Monday, March 11th, I would be left with no other decision than to take further action. I'm hoping and praying with JJ that you may reconsider. Therefore, I will keep the house until the end of April in hopes that you'll come see your son. He's doing well. He's actually taking his own tubby, washing his own hair, and getting on his own jammies. After his tubby, he actually sits with me for a few minutes, then takes himself to bed. So we can do scripture and then he goes right to sleep. He did get his first real haircut and is adorable as he is, having fun with lots of his new buddies and cousins. He had his well check in March and I sent you the form. He's doing quite well. I'm sure you're aware I did withdraw him from school so he could be close to the rest of his family. Of course, he misses Tylee, I'm guessing, but most of it was your decision to cut that off. He is being homeschooled with an experienced special needs teacher. I make no judgment, Lori. I only want what is best for JJ, and having you in his life is crucial to his well-being and development. Damn, man. He actually cared about this kid, and she just killed him. Killed the kid, killed her daughter, killed the wife, killed the vet, killed her. Oh my God. Ugh. I wish she would like choke on some bologna. Anyway, please see your son, or at least call him. He does miss you terribly and simply cannot understand where you went. Aw, please do or say something for him. He deserves it. Please. Charles. So she's missing. She's changing the password. She's prophesizing. She's having her testimony. She's living her best life. In February, Charles Vallo files for divorce, and then in March he asks for it to be dismissed. And then, according to another email from Kay Woodcock, Lori shows up. Can't remember if I told you, 58 days and no Lori. She appears 3/28, only to upset Charles and argue. That day, Charles offered to fly her to Houston on 3/31 to see JJ. She said she couldn't because she had made a commitment to help a friend in Hawaii do something. That when she returned from Hawaii, she would head to Houston. She left for another 2 weeks before she finds time to see JJ in Houston. During that time, nobody except Alex could communicate with her. Nobody knew where she was. I think she's having an affair then and still is. Jason Mao is the right hand of cult leader. Can't think of his name. Just thinking out loud. I have a voice recording, maybe 2, of that day when Lori appeared. 3:28. I can send if you want. K Woodcock. Sent from my iPhone. Let's stop right quick and talk a little bit about Jason Mao. I've mentioned him before in my I Joined a Vow video, like towards the end. But Jason Mao, we know he sealed Lori in the temple. He's the policeman friend that they talk about when they're dissing Charles Vallo in the police station, Melanie, Gibb, and Lori. And we also get more weird emails from Chad about, you know, like the rankings and the weird family history and stuff. There's some new ones, and they do mention Jason Mao. Buckle in, because it's weird, you know, which I'm sure you already expected that. So these don't have dates on them. There's just an email that Kay Woodcock sends saying she found these documents on one of like the Charles Vallo fake emails that Lori creates, and so she sent them to police. So it says here, the 100 have served Heavenly Father throughout the history of the world, but they have worked as a group during the 7 eras of influence, and these are the 7 eras. The city of Enoch and building Noah's Ark, the formation of the house of Israel, Abraham through Moses, the Nephite journey, or is it Nephite journey, to America, during Jesus' ministry, both in Jerusalem and the Americas. So they've served in all of these, by the way. The American Revolution and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The restoration of the Church of Jesus Christ in the Northeast United States, and then redacted. So I'm curious what the 7th era of influence, maybe it's today. And here's the Jason Mao one. And it says here, Jason Mao, everything is redacted around it, but it says Jason Mao, 2, Israelite soldier at Battle of Jericho. 3, one of Helaman's stripling warriors. 4.1, Revolutionary War soldier from Massachusetts. 4.2, today. So now he is the highest level, and we're assuming he's a light being. Then we have some information about who Alex Cox was, according to Chad. Alex Cox, multiple creation, 4th creation exalted, 9 times. Sibling to me, 2 times on 4th creation. Oh, so Chad and Alex are siblings in previous lives as well. Rose is exalted, married 3 times on 4th creation and became eternal companions after 4th creation. His mission is to help Lori. And boy, did he complete his mission, all right. Then we have some documents which are very redacted, and we just see 7 children, 4 sons, 3 daughters, and then at the bottom, Lori's guardian angels. 9. Pretty sure 2 of them are Alex and Zalema. Things kick into high gear when Lori comes back. So now we're in April, mid-April, and guess what Lori does when she comes back? According to this email between police officers, it says, just got results from the blank email. This was the address that the fraudulent email was sent to, asking Chad to come to Arizona. The number used for the account was Lori's blank. She would use this email to converse with Chad at blank and blank. The account was established on 4/22/19. So if she came back 2 weeks after the end of March, this was about a week after that she makes this email. And she used it, according to this, she used it to ask Chad to come to Arizona as blank, assuming it says as Charles, on 4/27 to speak. It appears he did come. Then, as she sent him a thank you email on 4/30/2019. Lori would send emails from her blank account to the blank, and then to either one of the 2 mentioned for Chad. Most content were fake emails to get him to come to Arizona, or links to her singing on blank. Then we have the infamous day of July 11th, 2019, where Alex shoots Charles Vallo. The police department reports, we hear over and over again from the EMT and the people on the scene, how like Alex Cox seemed fine. He didn't seem like he needed medical treatment, that everybody was extremely calm. They weren't acting like, you know, appropriate to the situation of this man being killed and this dispute having taken place. Everyone, including Tylee, repeatedly, it says, were calm, which I guess the officers thought it was strange enough and worth noting. And then of course we know there was that Pool party. It shows here the officers got a Google alert about the pool party article. Now here is where it shows consciousness of guilt, if you will, because Charles is shot on the 11th of July. On the 14th of July, Alex leaves. He goes back to Chile, where he just came back from, and he stays there until August 1st. Who also is from Chile originally? Zulema. Is this a connection? I don't know. Thought I'd mention it. Lori also leaves. On July 15th, she goes to Houston. Interesting that a few days after they kill Charles, they flee. They go out of state or out of the country. Now, when Lori went to Houston, she left JJ with Angela for him to be taken care of, so she didn't take JJ with her. She leaves him, so now he doesn't have a father or a mother. Right after this happened, 4 days after his dad is killed, his mom leaves him with someone else. And amazing. This is another thing that I just found out, and it's just despicable. It just tells you the greed. It doesn't really fit in with the timeline, but I saw this phone bill. Charles Vallo's Verizon phone bill was $1,000 a month. And I'm like, what phone bill is $1,000 a month? Turns out he had 13 lines. According to Kay Woodcock, even more. And do you know that he was paying for Lori's family, her parents, their phones, tablets? Lori was accusing him of stuff and they were treating him like crap. Meanwhile, he's paying for their phone bills. I don't know, man. This Cox family, they're kind of shisty. I don't know. On July 23rd, about 10 days after Charles Vallo was shot and killed, we have an email, Kay sending those screenshots to police saying, oh my God, this is horrible. Lori's moving to Hawaii. What does this mean for the investigation? So Kay texts Lori. She goes, Lo, y'all okay? I'm worried. Please just send a quick text that y'all okay. Do you see flight itineraries? You good with it? Love you. Kisses for JJ from me and Papa. And then Lori responds and she says, sorry. Yes, we are okay. Been busy. I've never received any email from you. We have been figuring out what to do. JJ won't be able to go to Louisiana next week. We are moving back to Hawaii ASAP before school starts there. Please send me the address that you want me to send the ashes to for your memorial. I'll also send a box of things for Cole and Zach if you could give it to them. That would be great. Thanks. Kay responds and she says, is there any way possible I can get him? I can be there tomorrow since he's out of school. Once you're settled in Hawaii, I will bring him to you there. It breaks my heart he won't be able to attend service. Us keeping him while you move will help you. Win-win situation. I had rethought flight plans after I booked, since you said he's out of school from tomorrow until 8:15. I wanted to change and get him tomorrow anyway, but you didn't reply to my texts. Please let me know. However we can work this out. We will bend over backwards to work around your schedule. I need JJ hugs, and very badly right now. Everyone is looking forward to seeing him. Please, Lo. And then Lori says, once we are settled there, you are welcome to come visit him. It's just too confusing for him right now. He won't know what's going on at the memorial. It's better this way. Send me the address and I'll have him FaceTime you tonight. So now it's the beginning of August. Everybody knows that Charles Vallo has been shot by Alex Cox, and you start seeing other family members that are surrounding this family contacting police. Most notably, Adam Cox's wife, Nicole. Brace yourself. This was sent August 8th, 2019. Good evening, Nathan. I'm blank. I'm married to Adam Cox, the brother of Alex Cox and sister Lori Vallow. I'm emailing in regards to what happened to my brother-in-law, Charles Vallo. I feel like you need to know what's really going on. Since this has all happened, the whole family on my husband's side has cut us out of their lives, deleted us off of social media, and won't talk to us. They are mad that we know the truth and won't tell a lie. Lori and Alex both think they are immortal beings. Lori has a podcast and is a follower of Julie Rowe. This is like a cult. The last few months she's been telling family members Charles' body has been overcome by a demon and is not Charles, and that he needed to die. She told my son Zach this. Zach called my husband and I both, telling us how crazy she was becoming. She one day made up this lie, said Charles was cheating on her, and she took his truck, clothes, cut off credit card, took all the money in the bank, left him stranded somewhere, and he couldn't even fly home. He finally made it home, and she left JJ with him and never came back for 58 days. or called or texted, nothing. She was just missing. So Lori went missing after that body cam footage that we see of her with Tylee and Melanie Gibb talking about that whole thing, the psych evaluation, all that. Right after that, she goes missing. She stayed at Alex's house, new house. Charles was calling us and texting my husband every day, so worried. I couldn't believe a mother would leave her child. The rest of the family, my mother and father-in-law and sister-in-law, all cut Charles off. Very odd. He did nothing wrong. Charles pays for all their cell phones, car insurance. I mean, they use this poor guy. Okay, now listen to this. This is a lot. Lori even said her daughter Tylee is a dark spirit. That I have to agree with. She would lie, call her mom a B word at the age of 8. Terrible human being, that kid. She's talking about Tylee. She hated Charles for no reason. Lazy and spoiled. She would do anything to not have to ever work or get up early. She doesn't go to school. Nothing. Her brother, same thing. Both just used poor Charles for money all the time. When Lori found out Charles was moving to Houston taking JJ, she just showed up one day after 58 days and said she wanted to go with him, but had to go to Hawaii first for 12 days. Still hasn't even seen JJ. He was at school. She went to Hawaii. Then her and Tylee drove to Houston and showed up. She convinced him to come back to Phoenix. This happens less than 2 months ago. Charles started calling Adam, telling him, I have to leave her. She's crazy. I think her and Alex are going to kill me. He told my husband that. Charles asked Adam to come down to help him, get her committed to a hospital. Charles used his frequent flyer miles to fly Adam down. Now it's Friday. I get a text message from my mother-in-law saying that, Coco, that was so sweet of you to let Adam use your miles to come down here. We enjoy him so much. Just wish you could have come too. Love you. Charles has been dead 24 hours now. Everyone knows in the family. And not one of them has called me or Adam or Zach. They know Adam is in Tucson. Why wouldn't you call your son? Saturday morning comes. Adam can't stop thinking about Charles. His best friend, Dr. Lane, says, what's his name? And Googled it. Sure enough, pops up what they said happened, family dispute. Adam and Zach just broke down. Adam knew immediately his own brother and sister killed him. So Adam and Zach drive back to Phoenix to Janice and Barry's house, his parents who have yet to call any of us. So odd. They walk in and his mom starts screaming at him and Zach. They had gone through Charles' phone while he lay dead. And she said she knew why Adam was really there to help Charles to have Lori committed. Adam said, why do you text Nicole that? She was screaming at them. His dad came out from the room, asked to see Adam's phone, and said, I want to make sure you're not recording us. The whole thing is crazy. Adam, Zach packed their stuff, left their house, and deleted us from their lives. Cousins have called, and all we know, Alex and Lori are crazy, and know they killed Charles. Let me give you a background on Alex. Dad went to jail for writing a false document to judge. Dad put everything in Alex's name so IRS couldn't take it. While Dad in jail, Alex refinanced their house and took $250,000 and spent it all on hookers. Whoa. 2 years later, Alex still no job, lives at home, family acts like nothing ever happened. Sister Stacy found by Alex almost dead. Family in Hawaii, and while Stacy was at a facility dying, Alex was at home ordering off her credit cards. Once again, family sweeps it under the rug. 5 years later, living in Phoenix now, still lives with parents, age 40. Lori gets these little dogs, 2 of them. Well, Lori didn't want them anymore. So Alex one day picks them up and takes them to the desert, tossed them out of the car, drove off. Always would joke about it. Just a few weeks ago, Brandon, who's now getting a divorce from Melanie, who's involved in this cult of Lori's. They had a dog. They had a dog and the dog is missing. Alex shot and killed it because Melanie didn't want it anymore. Brandon came home and she told him this. Brandon spent a lot of time with Charles, and when he found out he was shot and killed, he was scared he was next. Then the next thing we have is a police email from August 14th, 2019, talking about Lori purchasing rings, wedding rings with green inlay, which we know now to be malachite. She tried to buy it from Etsy, but the seller, something happened with the seller. They shut down the shop, so she actually got refunded. But then we know she bought that from Amazon, and she was searching for the wedding dresses and this and that before they killed Tammy. This was in August. And now in the end of August, beginning of September is when Lori moves to Rexburg. Alex Cox moves too. We know that later on Melanie Boudreau joins them as well. So now they're in Idaho. What happens in Idaho? We know that they move in early September, and within a few days, less than a week, they're going to kill Tylee. But during this time, before Tylee is killed, Lori withdraws JJ from school. So it seems like plans are also being made in regards to JJ too, right before they kill Tylee. So, I mean, talk about a master plan. September 5th, Lori sends a lying email to Life School, which you guys may have already seen. It's not new, so I won't read it. I'll just put a little screenshot for you. And then we know that those pictures are taken in Yellowstone with Tylee and JJ and Alex and Lori. This is September 8th. We know September 9th, Tylee is killed. We know that less than a week after Tylee is killed, they take JJ to this Bear Island or Bear World, sorry, amusement park, and he's on the ride by himself because they killed his sister, the only one that gave a shit about him. And then 2 days after this photo was taken and a week after they kill Tylee, Lori records a podcast with Chad, September 16, 2019. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, at the end of September, we know that JJ is killed, but the day before JJ is killed, on the 23rd, Lori takes pictures of ammunition, and we know that JJ gets killed after that. Then we hear about how strange their relationship is. A tip comes in saying that around this time that Alex was shopping for a coat for Lori. It says, I can tell you that Alex and Lori had a really weird relationship. Around the day that JJ disappeared, he was shopping for a coat for her. Strange. Within hours of JJ's killing, Lori's texting the sitter with a stupid excuse about a lie about how she doesn't need her. This was sent at 12:23 p.m. September 24th. So we're assuming that JJ was killed in the wee hours of the 23rd night, 24th morning. So that afternoon, she sends a message to the sitter saying, hi Sydney, I hope the wedding was good. So JJ's grandparents came this week and they took him for a few weeks to give me a break. They've been asking to do that and you wouldn't let them. You killed him. So he won't be back until probably the end of October. I wish I had other work for you to do. You are such a darling girl. I understand if you need to get another job. Smiley face emoji. We have these weird Walmart pings of a cell phone on the 26th of 2019. This is around 10 p.m. near Chad's house. We don't know who this is. Maybe it's Alex. Then on the 27th, Melanie Boudreau gets Brandon Boudreau's address, which he had rented a place. He didn't want her to know, but due to their custody agreement, she had access to his address. So she gets his address. According to him, she was the only one, other than a few trusted people, that knew this address. And once she gets the address, there's a shooting attempt on his life shortly thereafter. Also, Brandon discovered Melanie stopped their divorce proceedings 2 days before they attempted to murder him. Something about she couldn't collect his life insurance if a divorce is pending. A few days later, October 1st, Lori rents the storage unit where there's stuff put in there, tires, stuff relating to the vehicle that we know was used to shoot at Brandon, Charles Vallo's Jeep. October 2nd, somebody shoots at Brandon Boudreau from said Jeep. Chad urges Tammy to go see family in Utah, and October 4th, she's in Utah. She comes back, October 9th, somebody tries to shoot at her. She thinks it's a paintball gun. It's possible it's actually a gun with a silencer, similar to what Brandon Boudreau saw. On the 6th, someone takes a picture of Alex in Mesa Falls. On the 7th, the next day, Lori Googles a drive to Missouri. She's also texting a bunch of people. It's all redacted. I'll show it to you. But it says, sent to Lori from an unknown person. So she gets texts that she deletes that are recovered. She sends texts that she deletes that are recovered. Pretty much all of these that are mentioned have been deleted and recovered. And we don't know what they say. But it does say that on 10/9/2019, So this is the day the shooting attempt on Tammy was made. Lori, it says it's obvious that Lori stayed with Melanie during this time. Melanie Boudreau. She hadn't come to Rexburg yet. Lori leaves, all that stuff happens. She doesn't come back till Tammy's dead. The day before the shooting attempt, Lori boards a flight. She goes from Idaho to Phoenix. IWA is the airport code for Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. Then she goes to, I guess, Kansas City. It says here there's no screenshot of her Phoenix to Kansas City flight. However, in a deleted text message, this was discovered. American has a nonstop flight Phoenix to Kansas City Thursday at 1 p.m. Then fly back on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Audrey said we could stay with her, but I told her we would get a hotel and she could stay with us. She will take us to all the amazing sights. Something happens where Tammy Daybell dies in her sleep on the 19th of October. On the 20th of October, the next day, Lori books a Phoenix to Idaho ticket, according to the timeline in the investigation by police. So they have money from Tammy that Chad has. Then there's this monthly money Lori's getting from the kids that she doesn't have to spend on the kids. And they're in Hawaii living their best life. This is around the time where they get married, early November. They're in Hawaii. This is also around the time that Melanie comes and moves to Idaho, where she leaves her kids' belongings in the middle of the night with Alex Cox, and they drive to Rexburg. The heat is starting to come on. People are wondering where the kids are. And then what happens? The welfare check on JJ. And as we know, once that welfare check happens, the day after, Lori and Chad flee. Police come back with a search warrant. Only Melanie and Alex and those people are left. And this is when, all of a sudden, Alex and Zulema get married, and Melanie and Ian get married. They all have different last names now. And, well, Lori, Alex have different, Melanie and Alex have different last names. The police come on the 26th and on the 27th and on the 29th and on the 30th, they've gotten married. So now we're at the end of November. And we find out that at the beginning of December, Zulema and Alex are being surveilled. There is information showing people matching their description and their vehicle showing up to the temple in Arizona, and they're still together. So Zulema is with Alex. She knows he shot Charles. Apparently she was in on it. I don't know if she knows about the kids, and she definitely should know about Tammy. I mean, how much does Zulema really know? What is Zulema's role in all of this? I mean, the evil killer guy, that's her husband. I used to think she might have known some things, but not everything. But now I'm not so sure. What happens 2 days after the surveillance thing? December 8th. The secret recording with Melanie Gibb.
And he was very deceiving.
I know natural desires.
Well, honey, you got a lot of natural desires. We all know that.
That's what you think is me, Cora? Are you kidding me right now?
2 days after that recording, Tammy's body's exhumed. And we know the day after Tammy's body's exhumed, Alex is dead. Coinky dink? I don't think. Then there's this redacted report on Zulema. We also find out Zulema refused to provide a statement to the detectives that showed up. She did talk to the initial responders, but once the detectives came, she lawyered up and didn't want to talk. Once Alex dies and all these people have died, Ian is spooked. Ian Pulowski is spooked. This is when he starts cooperating with police, spying on them, and trying to get Melanie to talk to police too. And we start to see emails and documents regarding that. We find out that Melanie only came because Ian made her come, but she was afraid to come, and all that kind of stuff. And then shortly thereafter is when Lori gets found in Hawaii and arrested, and the rest is history. I do want to add 2 more bits of information that don't really fit with the timeline, but I want to talk about them. First is, not just me, but obviously, thank God, which I'm sure we knew this was the case, the FBI joined Avowal too, and they had tons of screenshots. There are a few things I do want to read you, the Avowal screenshots of comments on what was going on. These are posts on Avowal that were posted after it came out that the children were missing and that the police were suspecting them, but before the kids' remains were actually found. So it's that time period where there was still hope the kids were alive, but things were not looking good for Lori and Chad, and people were suspecting them. This person is Kakawai, interesting, Kauai. And it says here, none of this is the least bit surprising. I really would just like to point out that I was completely freaked out, not only by Chad's actions after his wife's death, posting on Avow hours after her death and liking and responding to people's responses the entire day and on about her death, but also all of you for even remotely thinking any part of that was normal. Seeing condolence messages to a clearly deranged man who couldn't get off the forum the day his wife dies suddenly made me sick. It made me wonder if any of you have any kind of discernment at all. I have an opinion. No. I almost didn't want to come back here. I was thinking, am I going crazy here? What is happening? Am I off? Yes, run. So I went to his Facebook page and to get a good look at him and do what I do with just a pic, and sure enough, I saw the devil in him. Knew there was foul play. I don't know what it means or how he got there, but it was true nonetheless. I don't mean to get on my high horse and say I knew it, but that was pretty disturbing, and at the very least, this community will have to gain my trust. Discernment, no matter the form of righteousness, is very important. There is absolutely foul play, and Chad Daybell will be in prison. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. Yes, there's a big lesson here to be learned. I've had to learn it too. It's a tough pill to swallow. And then there's a lot of delusional people. So many delusional people. I'll give you an example. We know Chad is a visionary and can communicate beyond the veil. Who's to say he and Tammy didn't talk about her upcoming death? Not knowing exactly when. And Tammy basically handpicked Lori for Chad to marry. And the spirit confirmed it. So Chad knew he had her blessing to marry Lori and so went ahead. There are so many righteous possibilities here. There's no reason to jump to negative ones. Absolutely no reason. Nobody's missing. Nobody died. Shh. Shh, it's fine. We love Chad. Just want to get this out for you. I also love hearing what you guys say in my comments, because a lot of you connect dots, make connections that I never would have thought in every video I do. So I'm very curious to know like the connections you guys make. I can look at those and then look at what I see, put it together, come back to you guys. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hear me out beanies. They're replicas of my tinfoil hat, except they're beanies. Beanies. I'll be sending them to you in a foil mailer, you know, for the tinfoil experience. Aluminum foil, I know, whatever. Beanies.